can we please talk about the Nyash Obsession?
Ooh.
The Nyash Obsession that seems to have plagued society.
And Nyash, but who doesn't like Nyash?
Now, people like Nyash. You can argue that it's in some way genetic. This attraction we have towards women who have big behinds. And yeah, there's some truth to that. Evolutionary biology tells us that, the different sexes have certain attributes and characteristics that the other sex finds attractive. And that is what gives us the imperative to reproduce across the animal kingdom and even plant kingdom. But especially the animal kingdom, you will see that the females will have a certain features which will attract the males. And in our case, we were imbued with the desire for a nicer hip to waist ratio, big boobs, smooth skin, and those sorts of things. Nice long hair, that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So for us as black people, Nyash seems to be our thing. It's the thing we look at on the ladies and say, okay, it's time to...
It's the feature that makes men turn heads. Like...
There you go. And start wars in some instances. But has it got to the point where it's now an insane obsession? I was just looking at the commentary surrounding the recent wedding of the king of Busoga to his bride. And you're not going to believe this. Instead of simply congratulating the couple and saying, best wishes and this is so magnificent and beautiful, a beautiful day for Uganda. People were instead saying, hey, but does she have Nyash? And then people had to post pictures to
zoom in or show if she has
on her behind to show that, all right, nothing to worry about. She's good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
sorted.
I'm like, wait, come on now. Is that what we have reduced our women to?
But anyways, I would say, I myself personally, I love to see a lady that has Nyash, or I would prefer that kind of shape. But it's going too extreme. It's getting so overrated. People are really taking it too far.
They are taking it too far because
they may make the other ladies feel so insecure. Maybe the ones that don't have the Nyash.
The ones who don't have.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, Nyash isn't, not every woman has it.
Yeah, true. It's not that everyone has it.
Either because she's more on the slender side, or it could be that in her tribe, ethnically, they just built differently.
Just not that thing.
But then now they're faced with a society that celebrates women who have extraordinarily large behinds. And yet they, as women who don't have those same qualities, are still equally valuable. They may have good character, they may be intelligent, they may be educated, they might be charming, have warm personality, may be great homemakers, may even have pretty faces. But we're going to discount all that just because she ain't stacked at the back.
At the back. That's how it's now all going. It's being reduced to that. And it's not right. It's not right. But the truth is, it's the society we're living in right now. Like our eyes, or men's eyes. Men's eyes. And what we all consume, what we see in the media, the videos we watch, like it's all over. And that thing also gets into one's... inner self. So you find yourself being attached or attracted more to this person that has the Nyash than to the other person that is, kind of well-sized or flat. But to me, the point is it's overrated. It's overrated.
And I think that's where the conversation needs to take place.
Eventually, it may get an impact or affect the other ladies out there, because even I see now people go out for these things,
operations, BBL,
or they buy those fake.
Yeah, you look at someone posted the picture of Cardi B recently, zoomed in on her posterior, and you could clearly see in her case, and she has admitted that she has had implants placed behind there because she succumbed to the pressure to be stacked at the back, and so she went and bought herself a butt. Now, the question is, isn't that dangerous? Don't we want to discourage that?
It's very dangerous, and we have to discourage that.
So, speaking
on... A woman is not... we shouldn't, base on their Nyash or zero down them to just,
now,
a body part, just a body part, a mere body part.
And just to be clear, I think we should mention, Prince, that it's not that we're saying that Nyash is bad and you shouldn't like it. No. We're saying that shouldn't be all that we see in a woman, to at the expense of all of her other final qualities, which arguably might be more important qualities
than that.
When considering who to take on as a wife or as a girlfriend. or as a partner. Because
and actually, there's the other side of it where you on your post you're like, hey, well, she takes off those pants.
Thank you.
It's also another side of the story.
I'm glad I'm glad you brought this up, because indeed yesterday I put up a post. It was I shared a tweet by a South African woman who was saying how some chick looked amazing, and she had posted a video of a woman who was really, really well endowed in her jeans. And I mean, it looked juicy and jiggly, no question. But I was saying in that post, Prince, that look, sometimes, when those jeans come off, it doesn't quite look as appealing as it does when the jeans are still on. Because the thing is with jeans, and especially if they are tight, what they will do, those tight jeans, is that they will compact all of the flab and the fat to create the illusion. To create the illusion of a big, bubbly, round, well-shaped peach bottom, right? And of course, that gets all the guys drooling.
And now, actually, based on that video that you shared, I would assume that a large number of ladies that have that kind of, butt, if they take off their jeans, best believe me, you wouldn't want to see what you'll run away, because you'll just see something falling off. And
all right, time for real talk. Listen, so I'm not gonna claim that
But you're a person who doesn't like Nyash.
Let me get to my point. I'm not gonna claim that I've been with all the ladies of the world, but I've dated the ones that are bigger and the ones that are smaller, right? I've dated black, I've dated white. I've seen all the shapes and the sizes, and let me tell you, as appealing as those big nyashes might look in those jeans, when those jeans do come off, usually you will be disappointed with what you see. The sight isn't as glorious as you might imagine, because like I mentioned, the jeans are doing a good job of propping up the flesh and the flab. It's just that when those jeans come off, it all comes pouring out. And you end up with just a shapeless mass of flesh, which in some cases is quite disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting to look.
It's shapeless. It's got mountains and ridges and valleys, or it's got stretch marks, or it's got cellulite.
A lot of I saw in one of the comments, I guess, that when they take off, you get to see the potholes.
The potholes. Yeah. So that, and they tend to look very uneven in the shape, and then also if she's like light skinned, she can sometimes be like the skin tone can also be inconsistent. She may have darker patches here and there, particularly with the very light skinned ones. They may have darker patches, so that in the end, it's not quite as appealing as you might have thought it is.
The jeans are just doing the most.
The jeans are doing the magic, and when you're making out and you're squeezing that butt in those jeans, you'll feel like you're in heaven. But when those jeans come off, it's like,
hey, what's this now? What am I holding here?
It just becomes a whole nother story.
But the whole Nyash talk is too much. It's too much, and I believe going forward, a lot of ladies are going to feel like, if I don't have Nyash, no one is going to date me. No guy would like me. No guy will.
And that shouldn't be the case. If you are an amazing woman who is kind-hearted, who is caring and considerate of others, knows how to take care of a man, you're a great cook, and also great in the lovemaking arena. Because let's be clear. That's to add another point regarding Nyash. A lot of these big Nyash girls aren't even that good.
Very boring.
Like once you get down to business, first of all, the Nyash it makes them very inflexible.
Yeah.
Because typically the bigger the Nyash, the more overweight they tend to be.
Indeed.
So there are certain positions they cannot manage very well.
There are many factors, actually, if you get down to it deeply, that one would rethink on saying, hey, I'm a guy for Nyash.
Exactly.
Like if you really put into context all that we are talking about right now.
And you think you're going to get big Nyash that doesn't come with a big belly?
Indeed.
They're usually a combination.
Plus size.
So typically the big Nyash chick, once she disrobes, you're going to have some chick with the big butt, yes, but also a big tummy, no waistline to speak of, rolls of fat on her waist.
Then now paint a picture.
And then the boobs are going to be huge and saggy. I don't know if you're going to like what you see, man. I mean, are guys being serious about this?
Oh, but what the Chavazinga had right there was perfect size out there. To me, honestly, the lady's well endowed. Like, she's well shaped. And to all those people that were asking, does she have Nyash?
She got it.
She got it.
If that's the metric, then she qualifies. She passes.
She qualifies.
But again,
that's not the
for
point.
me, when I was looking at their wedding photographs, I didn't even pay attention to that.
You didn't have that in mind.
I just was seeing a very beautiful woman who looked very elegant, was very well dressed, very polite and sweet.
Men have been infected with the Nyash effect.
Until I had people saying, but where's Nyash? Does she have Nyash? I'm like, wait, what? It's crazy. So yeah, once again, to reiterate, look, you all have your taste. If you love the big Nyash, that's fine. I just warn you that perhaps you're not too sure about what you're asking for. Because the big Nyash will come with a big belly, no waistline, rolls of fat, and big, long, saggy tits. And I'm not sure that that's going to do a lot for your excitement once you're in that intimate situation.
It would be a lot of weight to take on.
You know? Exactly. And yet someone who is more modestly proportioned, you may find there's a certain aesthetic beauty to that also, where the waistline is nice and the waist is nice and smooth, and the stomach may not be flat but
at least it's
like a board, but
sized.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
Right?
You'd have a great time with such a lady.
And so there you are doing the business, and you are just appreciating what you are seeing. It's beautiful. Whereas with the one with the big Nyash, first of all, the Nyash is on the other side.
That's
would you even see it? And if you happen to be engaged in the position that causes you to see the other side, well, there's also the hygiene issue there that can come into play. Because look, you might have her in that nice position that you like for chicks with big Nyash, and when you look down, you're like, there's a problem.
Oh my.
You're like, yo, lady,
listening in right now and likes Nyash, I hope we're not talking you out of.
Hey, lady, when did you last bathe?
Oh my
or
God.
if you did bathe, maybe you didn't pay attention to certain areas. Because you're out here, you're back there feeling traumatized by what you are seeing and what you are experiencing. So this is a big issue, and I'm sorry and I've tried my best to not sound so graphic, but I hope I've painted a picture for you of what you would have to deal with in these situations.
Indeed.
So I don't know if you agree. Are these scenarios you've ever encountered?
Yeah, I've had a scenario. It was a rough one.
You're in the situation and you're like, whoa, what's this now?
It was a rough one, but
what's going on here?
Indeed, if you have a lady that is a bit, proportional, a good size,
then it's all good.
Things will roll a bit well.
Yeah.
But then if it's the other way around, like based on that kind of, that video that the lady captioned talking about, that kind of size,
big and bouncy,
can
be too much to handle.
Just like you said, it's not just about the Nyash. You'll even have to come upwards.
That's true.
You get upwards,
and by the way,
the tummies and everything, all that kind of stuff.
Everything. And by the way, much as you want to put pressure on the ladies to have big Nyash, the thing is, for you to make use of a big Nyash, you as a man kind of have to be well endowed. Otherwise, you're not going to reach your sweet spot.
Indeed.
Because all that flesh won't allow you to
penetrate.
If you're average sized, you're not going to be able to get very far.
That's 100%. There's so much. There's so much.
You're like, whereas with a chick who's more petite or like smaller, it's all the way.
It's a smooth ride.
You just, you get to the destination and, it's full contact. And there is a gracefulness to that some guys might appreciate.
Actually, I do believe that most guys just love seeing Nyash. But if it gets down to real issues, business,
not so much.
Not so much.
Now, of course, there are exceptions to this rule. There are unicorns. There are the ladies who have the big Nyash and yet also have very small waists. And flat stomachs and firm boobs. There are those exceptions, and I know those are the ones that we mostly fantasize about. But your average girl with big Nyash is just a fat chick.
It's just a fat chick.
It's just a fat chick.
I remember there's a time we had this conversation and we took relation with some video that was circulating in a bar somewhere, and this is a lady that they talk about, like she's well endowed and what, but very huge.
You get. Let me remind you. Do you remember the Nampera video.
Yeah, that's the Nampera video.
In the restroom at Kenji's.
The guy was being suffocated.
I mean, the guy was attacking it, but you could see he was struggling.
He was struggling. It was like he had a lot on him, and man,
and he was a small guy.
And then even where they were, imagine if it was some little nice kind of lady.
It would have been easier for him. But see what I'm saying? So Nampera, who is this Instagram influencer who we've been appreciating when she posts up photographs fully clothed.
Yeah, we would be like, oh.
When we saw what lay underneath, we were like, I don't know about that.
That's not what I want. Like, actually, it's definitely that's a perfect example for what we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
because everyone that saw that clip and you compare to that Nampera that we see in those pictures and everything,
right?
You're like, oh my.
So it's an illusion that we need to disabuse ourselves of, which is not to say that you can't have Nyash and still be amazing and hot and beautiful. Yes, you can, and there are many such women. I'm just saying that there is a need for us to not make it the focus of what we see in a woman.
Yep.
If you have Nyash, great. That's beautiful, wonderful. But I'm not saying I'm saying that we shouldn't just want to date you because you've had Nyash. Because that's also just reducing you to a piece of meat, which I get surprised when I see women trying to emphasize that Nyash. It seems like it's they themselves that are trying to signal to the world that, hey, this is what I'm all about.
Yeah, this is all. Then there's also that side of the things. Okay, the guys are all there yapping about Nyash, but also the ladies feel as though, hey, our dignity, our respect, attention will all come from this Nyash thing. So that's when you find all these that even don't have it. They have that insecurity or want to go and buy these fake, whatever they call them, and tie them around to only catch people's attention.
So
Nyash
I think...
or no Nyash, you're more than that.
Yeah, there is more to you than that. If you have it, great. If you don't have it, great. You're beautiful regardless, and you should be valued for your other qualities rather than just your Nyash.
Yeah.
And that's what we're saying this morning on the Fatboy Show. It's your number one station, RX Radio. Do stay tuned. More great music continues.